Reports today, it's a release from the royal family in the UK. They published social media guidelines. They published a new set of social media guidelines for the public, vowing to block users who leave offensive or abusive, they call, comments. And even going further, they also say that this could go further and include possible police action for people that leave what they believe to be abusive comments, or what they're calling abusive comments. British Royals appeal for online kindness after trolling of Kate and Meghan. Some of this is the media talking about criticism of Kate and Meghan specifically. The release by the royal family doesn't specifically address them as the only individuals. There's other royals, obviously, who are being criticized. People probably remember quite a few months ago, Linda Rothschild quitting Twitter. Lynn de Rothschild of the very wealthy Rothschild family. It's also, of course, have connections with the royal family as well, friends with the royals. She left this post on Twitter. This was her last post on Twitter. She went on a long hiatus. She said, "Not that it matters to anyone but me, but I am deleting my Twitter app after this last tweet." This is after she received a bunch of criticism, as the other members of the Rothschild family do as well. And of course, she brings up this whole so-called Russian collusion narrative that the mainstream media has been pushing, tying that in as an excuse why she's leaving and why she is receiving this criticism. She's saying that the criticism is illegitimate and that it is the result of Russians. To think that Russians have been using all of us to sow discord and destroy America is repulsive to me, and I refuse to take part. The hate and anger on Twitter is out of control. So basically, people were criticizing Rothschild. She called them Russian bots or Russian operatives and said that it was hateful. You have other governments, Macron, who has a long history working with the Rothschild Bank, of course, other connections back to the Rothschilds. He has said that people who have been convicted for speech crimes, he wants to ban them for life from social media as next step. Here in Canada, this is one article that I looked at. I won't recap, but there's an election coming up in Canada as well, and Justin Trudeau facing some major scandals currently. Meanwhile, he's putting together a team of people to look into what he says is election interference that will basically just be information that Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, doesn't like, that goes viral, and he's going to set up a team to investigate them. He's calling it election interference. Again, this flimsy, the whole bogus Russian collusion narrative, they're clearly using that as an excuse for censorship because they're being criticized. The Rothschild connection, more Rothschild connections. Lynn de Rothschild threw a major fundraiser just before the election for Hillary Clinton. Dinner party fundraiser hosted by Rothschild for about 30 guests who will pay $100,000 per couple. That was to raise money for Hillary during the election. And at the same time, these other owners of these social media sites seem to be going along with the Clinton, Rothschild, royal family, etc., their plan to just ban any kind of criticism on social media. Zuckerberg, the WikiLeaks emails also revealed that Zuckerberg has tried to reach out to Podesta through Sheryl Sandberg. She reached out to Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, John Podesta, and they talked about how to move the needle on different policy issues. Zuckerberg wants to get more involved in politics, and he's looking to Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, John Podesta, on how to shape advocacy efforts and move the needle on specific public policy issues. So people like Zuckerberg openly working with the Clintons, or this was revealed later through WikiLeaks, the specific email, but in other cases, they're working more openly with these establishment politicians, other people like the royals, using the excuses like election interference, and it really seems like it's just to block any kind of criticism is the real reason. I mean, that's definitely what it seems like. This is what they're saying about the new rules that the royals are setting up. They're saying Britain's royals unveiled a new protocol on Monday for users of their social media channels, asking for kindness and warning of possible police action possibly getting law enforcement involved on people that give abusive comments, often aimed at Prince Harry's wife. That's just this article adding that. They don't specify that it's her specifically again, but they're saying abusive and even threatening remarks have become commonplace on the comment sections and Twitter feeds of the royal family, with Kate and Meghan particular targets, are saying, unveiling their social media community guidelines. Buckingham Palace offices for the Queen, her son, and Prince Charles and William and Harry outlined what behavior they expected from users of their channels. They say, we ask that anyone engaging with our social media channels shows courtesy, kindness, and respect for all other members of our social media communities, the guideline says. They stated that the comments must not be defamatory, obscene, threatening, or abusive, be discriminatory in any way, be off-topic, irrelevant, or unintelligible, or contain advertising. Protocol said royal officials would determine whether the guidelines had been breached, and anyone who did so would be blocked or have their comments hidden or deleted. We also reserve the right to send any comments we deem appropriate to law enforcement authorities for investigation as we feel necessary. Some 3.87 million accounts follow the royal family's Twitter feed, and another 1.69 million follow that of the Kensington Palace. The House of Windsor seeks to reach out directly to royal fans and showcase its work. There's been no explanation. They say, however, while the palaces gave no explanation as to why they had issued the guidance now, there have been rising abuse of Kate and Meghan. So again, just speculation on the part of the media. Source from Kensington Palace told Hello Magazine, which launched a campaign in January to end the online abuse, that officials were spending hours each week addressing these bigoted, they call, comments. These included a number of threats, while there have also been vicious online arguments between rival supporters of the two royals and even those who report on their activities. It's not just the royal princesses who are being trolled. Every royal journalist, every royal correspondent is being trolled as well. People see their opinions as valid. It's what this quote comes from one royal biographer. I guess he's saying that people's opinions aren't valid, but he's saying that people see their opinions as valid, and I don't think they totally understand journalists do research that the royals have a job to do. I don't think they totally understand journalists do research that the royals have a job to do. I'm not sure what that quote means exactly, but it's kind of interesting. It's from another royal biographer. Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York and ex-wife of the Queen's second son, Prince Andrew, called on social media firms to do more following the Hello campaign, saying it was not a matter of free speech. They're claiming that this does not infringe on free speech, and we're seeing all this censorship on social media. I've talked about that regularly, especially in the last few videos. We've really seen it escalate. It actually looks like here on YouTube, they're moving in the direction of just removing comments altogether. They are trying to, one thing that they posted recently, one update in policies on YouTube, they said that channels could be censored even for people in their comments. So they're trying to, I guess, get channels to just on their own right now ban their own comment sections. Most channels obviously don't want to do that, but the next step will be that YouTube will likely just do that. That seems to be the direction they're doing. They're starting with censoring independent media channels, alternative media channels like this and others. But eventually, again, I don't think that they will want anyone to be able to even comment under any sort of news video or social media sites like Twitter. They will be so heavily regulated, or YouTube, that comment sections as we know them, they just won't exist, because they don't want people to be able to criticize them in this way. Clearly, they close off here saying much of social media has become a sewer. She said on Twitter last month, tech firms need to do more to take a stand against online abuse rather than shrugging their shoulders. Again, we've seen extreme censorship, even measures, looks like they're outright banning comment sections, and they're saying that that's not enough. Social media needs to do a lot more to stop these kinds of comments. It's a huge issue, apparently. This sounds like it's this is one of the biggest issues that the establishment has been trying to take on over the last 2 years, especially. Let me know what you think. I will continue to follow this, of course. I do have a link to my Patreon account in the video description, patreon.com/realityreader. I also have a PayPal link. Even $1 or $2 makes a huge difference. Thanks everybody that has supported the channel, paypal.me/realityreader. Both links in the video description. You can also look at the source article, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will follow up soon. Thank you.